Is Christian, and in this video I will explain you what is MyListing preview card styling, a styler for Elementor plugin, what it is, and after that I will show how to use it and create your own preview card using Elementor. So first, what does this plugin do? As you might know, the Elementor, the MyListing theme has a couple of default layouts, and you can customize what fields you want to show on the preview card. However, if you want to create a design that is really unique for your business, this is just not enough. So that is why I created a plugin that allows you to design the preview cards with Elementor, thus giving you almost unlimited options when it comes to positioning, design, and selecting which fields you want to show. If that is not very clear to you right now, stick with me. In this video I will show you how to do it step by step. So now I will explain you how to create a preview card. But first I will show you how my listing site is set up. So we have a listing type here, it's called activity, and currently there are 3 activities listed. For each activity I have a couple of fields that might look familiar to you: title, description, images, some contact information. We store the country of the activity where it takes place. We store event details, like a recurring date and time for when the activity takes place. We store a group size. We store a price. We store what kind of price it is, whether it is a price per person, per day, or per hour. And finally, we have some categories and tags for our activities. So that is basically our listing type, which is not too complicated, I think. Then we have a couple of listings, like a Jeep tour. I just fill in some dummy information, set the country, date and time, prices, price type, etc. So this is another listing type or listing. So I added a demo review, and you can see some details in the single listing card. But now we want to change this preview card. How do we do this? We go to the backend of our site. We go to the templates tab, then we click Save Templates. Now, I'm already there. If you have clicked to that page, you click the Add New button at the top. This new template pops up, and you select Section for the first. Select a location, we choose the preview card, and then we create a template name, which is basically for ourselves to allow us to identify what we have made. So I will call it preview card for the listings. Then we hit the create button. And we are presented with the Elementor editor. We click away this template box because we are going to start from 0. Now, I have a tab open from Airbnb, which has a nice unique layout, and we'll see if we can replicate this into our MyListing website. So basically we add an image first, then we have the country name, and for each field you can just use a heading tag in Elementor for now. This image is a little big, so I first scale it down and set a picture just for test purposes. Now you can see that the image is still very big, so we set the width to maximum of 200 pixels. Now, you still see that the page is pretty big, and considering a preview card is like half of the size, we might want to make this Elementor preview a bit smaller to allow us some easy editing. So what we do, we go to Section, Advanced, Custom CSS, and there we add this bit of code. You can copy it from me, max width, and we set it to 380 pixels. So now that we have designed our preview card as we wanted, the next step is to make sure it turns up on the Explore page. I'm sure that up till this point you can design your own preview card, just put in the data without any link to your listings right now, but will make sure that in the end. First, make sure that you have a design that you want to use for the preview card. So that is what I have here. And now the next step will be how to make this visible on the Explore page. So once we click Publish, this where do you want to display your template comes up. This is called Elementor display conditions, and we can use that to set where and when our preview card turns up. So we click Add Condition, singular, and then we scroll down to the bottom where it says listing type. Now, then if we click the last box, we get a drop down of all listing types. We click Activity. Then we click Save and Close, and it's saved. Now we turn back to our Explore page, and we click Search and refresh the page. And you see that our preview card that we just designed is popping up 3 times. But it is not showing the correct data right now. So that's the next step. We come back here, we go to the settings icon in the left corner, we click Preview Settings, we preview the dynamic content as a single listing, and then we select a listing which is of our listing type. In this case, I can select, for example, the Learn to Play the Flute or the Touring by Bike, or the Jeep Tour that I have. So I select the Jeep Tour, I click Apply and Preview. Nothing happens right now. That's just fine. We click Update once again. And then we go to our text. We now want to make it dynamic. So we click in Country. We click on the dynamic text field in the right corner. We scroll down and we see MyListing, and we have a few options. Our country field is a category, a region, so we don't need the MyListing fields for that. So that's important to keep in mind. If you want to display a category, a custom taxonomy, tags, something like that, you scroll up and you choose post terms. Then you have the drop down, settings, taxonomy, and we click regions. We have a separator here, which you can specify if you have multiple regions, and a link option, whether we want to link to the archive. So now you see it says United States. Now, our second field, how to play the flute, should be the title of our listing, of course. So then we go here again, post, and we select post title. And we see the Jeep Tour popping up now. I also see right now that the line height should still be specified and that the font can be a little smaller. Now, and then we want to set the tagline, which is not a post type, a title, it's not a taxonomy, but it is a MyListing field. So there is where the magic of our plugin comes in. We scroll down to MyListing, we select regular field, and we have the field name. Now, you might notice that this drop-down is empty, and that is correct. It has to do with the way MyListing functions, but just remember, as soon as you see this, that it is empty, click Update, and refresh your browser window. Well, there Elementor is again. We wait till it loads, and then we have here our tagline, which is empty. Now, you see that the field is still selected. If we now have the field name drop down, you can see that the options are there. So remember, if the options are not there, update and refresh your browser window, and they will be back. And you now see our tagline popping up. We make it a little smaller as well. Now we have the next field that we want to set the number of people. We also use the dynamic text, regular field, and we set group size. Now, as you can see, our group size is 15. We can add the number of people using the advanced tab and the after, which adds text after we add a space and people. You see now 15 people max. We do the same for the next field, which is the pricing. We click regular field and we have the price number. Now that returns 85. Now we want the prefix. We cannot set a new dynamic suffix here, like per day or per hour. So we add a new field for that. We duplicate this, remove the icon, we don't need that. We go to regular field again and select price type. Now you can see it says per person. If we want to add the slash, we can do that over here before. And using this setting, now you see the rating also needs to be dynamic, and that is where you need the MyListing rating field. You see it says 2.5. So this is in short how you fill all the text fields and the rating fields. Now we also have our image, which is currently set as a background image to the column. You see it here. We also can change it. You go to MyListing, image, and the key is also empty. So now again, we have to refresh the page. This is an issue with the way the system works. I hope it can be fixed in the next update, but until now it's a minor disadvantage. You have to refresh sometimes. There we have it again. We go to style, image, it's, and we type in the custom key, which is job cover. You can see it popping up. There it is. Now, we have made all fields dynamic and everything is previewing correctly. So we go back to the Explore page, reload it. And there our preview card is. Now, what you might notice now is that the cards are not of equal height, which is something you might experience if you have titles that are not all the same length. There's a simple fix for this. If you use a section in Elementor, there is a height setting which you set to min height, and you set it to, for example, 300. Find something appropriate for your content. I use 220 here, so make sure I have no margins. Here is still a spacer which I can delete. Now I update it, go back to the Explore page, reload, and you see it's working now. Sometimes the Elementor preview cards can be a bit slower than the default cards, but we can fix that very easily because the Elementor cards also support the performance settings. So we go to Theme Tools, Performance, we enable the caching. It takes some time to generate the caches, and then if we refresh the page, there it is again, and you see it's much faster as fast as it would be using the default preview card. Now, there is one field that you might have missed in this. If we go to the backend, we see the Jeep Tour. You see that there is also a date set. Let's add that one also. So we add in a new heading field. We change the styling a bit, and then we want to add the date. Now, note that the date is of another format than the regular field, so you need to have the recurring date setting over here. And that is because in our listing type, which you see here, we specified our date as a recurring date. So make sure that matches with the setting here. And then you can also see the field drop down is emptied, so we do a quick refresh again. We select the date, we can select whether we want to show the start date or the end date. We do the start date, and here you can set some formatting. So for example, if I only want to show the times, I only choose HI. And if I want to show the date, the month, year, I do it like this. So you say the 2nd of June. We can duplicate this, and we can set the next one to end date, and you see that the start date and end date are popping up. I will also add the time because some other listings are using times. And then I save it. Now, if we go back to this page, explore page, you might see that the times is not popping up. That is because we generated performance caching. So if you change this to a style, you have to either choose regenerate for your listing type or disable the caching. For the purpose of this tutorial, we'll disable it, and when we refresh, there is our time again. You see this one uses, for example, start and end times. If you only have single day activities, you can of course leave out this portion and only show the time portions. Now, there are two other widgets that we didn't, or dynamic text that we didn't cover in this video. These are date for normal date field, so if you're not using the recurring functionality, and the work hours, which enables you to show whether a location is open now, what the open hours of the current day is. So that's quite a powerful setting as well. We change this back to the tagline, and then if you go to the global settings, you can also see we have two other widgets coming in: quick action buttons and related listings. Now this listing type doesn't have relations, but it does have bookmark functionality and quick view. So you can select here the type. We want to show a plus icon for the quick view, and we want to duplicate this and show a heart icon for the bookmark functionality. Then we can set also some styling on this. I won't add much styling now. You can do that on your own, but you might notice that if we refresh this page, we can use the plus button to show us the quick view. This is the end of the tutorial. I hope this is enough for you to start designing your own preview cards. If not, submit your support request via our website, and I will help you creating your design for your preview cards.